Okay, so I haven't made a video in a while, so I figured I may as well film something I'm doing. So today, what I'm going to work on here is this, what it's going to be. Well, this is just an old U-built trailer that someone gave us for free, and I'm going to repurpose it as it's not really roadworthy, so to speak. What I'm going to do is turn it into a mobile chicken coop. Um, so I've had to move my chicken coop uh, uh, twice, once, either which way. It's a pain in the ass. I got the tractor. It's too difficult. So here, what we're gonna do is like a Lumnah Acres inspired mobile chicken coop. Right now, everything's separated. This just had a wood deck before, so it's just the fenders are sort of holding the whole thing up on top of the tires. So what I got to do is I've got to cut off all of the bolts that are rusty and rotten, and cut some lumber to make the spring mount. And we'll do the other one, and then we're going to do like a 2x4 on each edge, and then drop a piece of plywood on top of it. So I have removed some things. The corners each had upright L brackets. It also had a tire carrier on the front, and I've already cut those things off. There's a brush fire here. It's really early in the season, but there was a brush fire 2 doors down the road in an old hay field, and so I was a little bit shy about coming out here with the grinder and making sparks. But it has since rained, so it's time to get moving on this project. So here's the old coop that we're going to be replacing. I've got the netting up because we have eagles here, and we did lose our rooster last winter, not the last one, the winter before. We did lose our rooster to an eagle attack, and they come, they sit up in the trees, and they wait, and then they do their thing. So this almost would fit on that trailer deck. It's just a little too wide and a little too long. The length I could have dealt with, but the width I can't. Now I could just try and make it a little skinnier, take a little width off of it and reuse it. But the design leaves a little to be desired, and it's been moved a couple times. The legs are just sort of rinky-dink on there. So we're just gonna redo the whole thing. So this is the plan. This is the coop that's getting replaced. We're going to build a very similar coop on top of that trailer deck. And then, of course, we'll incorporate rainwater somehow into the trailer. No eggs. Right, so let's get her done. Alright, I got some flat black spray here. I cleaned up a bunch of the rust scale with a screwdriver and then a flap disc, got rid of some loose paint. I'm not looking to make this thing pretty or anything, but just get a coat of paint on there so that it offers some kind of protection, so it lasts maybe a little longer. It remains to be seen. Okay, so I got, about as much of it painted as I care about. Really just painting it because I can. Some paint laying around. It's a rusty old piece of junk anyway. I mean, it does look a little nicer. But, yeah, I'll probably spray the underside at some point, but not. Okay, we got pieces cut off. And now we're just going to measure for how long of the board we need in here. Looks like 74 3/8. 74 3/8. Okay, I ran into a small problem here, and that was that my 2x6, my single 2x6 that I was going to use for this project, that I milled from a pretty big fir log, I was going to use lengthways, but it's not long enough, and I don't want to mill any more lumber for this project, at least not any fir. It's difficult. So I think what I'll do is I'll put them crossways. It's going to have the 2x6 and then a 2x4 on each end, and then a sheet of plywood on top. I'm going to think about that because, yeah, I'm just going to think about that for a minute before I execute that plan. Well, I contemplate using two 2x4s to span between the leaf springs in the frame lengthways. Like lumber, I mill it all with the chainsaw, so I'm really reluctant to use any more than what's needed. So I still might go across crossways with my 2x6, and it's just a chicken coop, so it's less than ideal, but I might just do it to save the lumber. But in the meantime, I'm not sure how well you'd be able to see that, but there's a wow in this frame, and I'm just going to grab the tractor and try to bend it a little bit. That's not going to work. Alright, so the decision has been made. We're just going to go crossways on that. And it's not my favorite idea in the world, but it saves lumber. So I'm just going to square out this end here. I wrote my measurement here, 47 3/4. I have to nip off a couple of chunks of crap here. We'll just do that. Right, so I got the front of the spring pack clamped about as close to evenly as possible. And now it's time to drill some holes in here. Beauty. So I'll do those 4, then I'll clamp to the edge. I'll put a couple, I'll drill all these holes, and I'll put a couple in, and I'll clamp the end, and then drill all the way through for those. And then we should have one done. All right. So now we got that. Let's drill holes in the frame here. Gotta figure out what size hardware I have to make this happen. Frick. I'll be a while. Alright, so I found my hardware and washers. These were for another project that I don't see myself getting to anytime soon, so we're just gonna use them because I can't go to the store anyway. So I'm just gonna drill a bit smaller of a hole to begin with. It's close enough. So let's go. I'm gonna have to go to the step drill. This is ridiculous. Okay, so that's how I'm going to do the other side, and this whole process is how I'm going to do the back side. The back side will only be a little bit different because of the angle of the shackle, which, you know, for a mobile chicken coop, like, who cares? So probably won't film much more of this process. Maybe when I put the 2x4s on the front and the back, and then the deck on. So thanks for watching. Come back to see the rest. Okay, so I got the back board on here. Ran into a bit of an issue when drilling these holes. Was I drilled the small hole through the fat hole for the bolt, and then from underneath try to wallow the hole out with one of these bad boys. Now they work great. and I've always wanted them, and I recently got them, and I got like one hole out of each of them. I've got one more in the chucked up in the drill, and so like, yeah, it worked great once, you know, come up, oh well, the hole's out, right, okay, right, and then try to use it again, and it doesn't cut in, doesn't bite in. So, and then I grab another one from the same set, and it'd bite right in, get my hole, move on. Nope, now it won't cut again. Grab another one, right? So I used 4 of them to get 2, 4, 6, 8 holes. So, and there was a lot of fighting. So anyway, and then all I did was pounded the top of the bolt into the wood, just mashed it in there. And so all this is set up the way that I want. Shackle angle's not the greatest, but it is what it is. It's just for a chicken coop. And yeah, so I'm just gonna peel these off and oil them up, and I'll cut my 2 back pieces and oil, or front and back pieces, and oil them up at the same time, and then I should be able to put the plywood on it tomorrow. So rock and roll. Thanks for watching.